Welcome. This is Newsfirst Weekend Primetime News here on MTV Sports and Shakti TV. I'm Ramesh Rugal Bandara. Let's start off with a look at the headlines. Colombo Port City project on the line. Allegations levelled by the JVP. Changes to several positions of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. 3 police teams assigned to investigate the details revealed by Duminda Silva. Sri Lanka suffers 98-run defeat to New Zealand in the opening game of the Cricket World Cup. Arvind Kejriwal sworn in as Delhi Chief Minister. Our top story tonight, a new board of officials were elected today for the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. The executive committee meeting of the party to make the appointments took place today in Battaramulla.
The executive committee of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party convened at the Apegama premises in Battaramulla today. The session was presided by chairperson of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, President Maithripala Sirisena. A new board of officials were elected for the party at the meeting and several discussions were also announced.
The
executive committee convened today and the Central Working Committee granted the approval to the amendment of the constitution. Secondly, former presidents, former prime ministers as well as senior party members such as Alivi Maulana were appointed as patrons of the party. We also made several appointments within the party. The position of General Secretary has not changed. We appointed Susil Premajanda as the national organizer of the party, while S.B. Navina was appointed as the treasurer of the party. We also made appointments for the posts of deputy chairman, chairman and assistant secretaries.
SB නාවින්න මැති. තවත් නියෝජ්‍ය සභාපතිවරු උපලේකම්වරු පත් වුණා.
When the seniors of the party were arriving for a press conference subsequent to the executive committee meeting, a group of provincial council and local government members alleged that they were not accorded proper invitation when making the appointments. The press conference took place thereafter.
We invited former Presidents Chandrika Kumaratunga and Mahinda Rajapaksa for this meeting. They accepted this invitation and informed us that they would not be able to attend the meeting. Former President Chandrika Kumaratunga sent me a letter, and according to this letter, it has been mentioned that she would not be able to attend this meeting due to a previous engagement that she had scheduled a month ago, and which required her to travel out of the city. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa informed me that he would not be able to attend the meeting due to several engagements that he too had to attend. However, in a letter that he had conveyed to me, he had stated that no matter what circumstances, he would never leave the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and that he promises to fulfill the responsibilities and duties required of him and is dedicated in this endeavour. He also extends his best wishes to the new party leader.
It
is a member of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party who has been appointed as the leader of this nation. So it is the party's hope that this party will be appointed as the new government at the upcoming election. Because the government led by the UNP has put a halt to the development process of this country, we can see that many have lost their jobs as a result of this. Therefore, we need to create a new government under the SLFP. We as a party have come together to achieve victory at the upcoming parliamentary election, which is scheduled to be held after the 31st of April. We will start preparations tomorrow. There are currently 14 parties under the UPFA. Amongst these 14 parties, there were many clashes of ideologies, but despite these shortcomings, everyone contested under the beetle leaf. We will remain as an alliance.
Meanwhile, journalists raised questions as to whether former President Mahinda Rajapaksa will be fielded as a prime ministerial candidate.
According to the constitution of this country, anybody can contest at the election. However, we have still not been informed as to who will be contesting.
We will appoint a committee for the submitting of nominations. If someone wishes to contest for the parliamentary election, then you need to put forth a request to be included in the nominations list. Thereafter, the committee appointed for nominations and the Central Working Committee will decide whether or not he is suitable to contest for the elections. We still have time for this. The appointment of the prime ministerial candidate will be decided by the President.
On our developing story tonight, construction of the Colombo port city, which has led to much controversy, continued today as well.
This footage was recorded at different times during the course of today. An area no lesser than 575 acres stretching from the coast of the Colombo harbour on 233 hectares upon to the golf face green is being constructed through land reclamation from the sea. This also includes luxury hotels, housing schemes, shopping facilities, docks and cycling paths. Environmentalists point out that as there is no impact assessment report, the construction of this project is illegal.
Let's now cross over to Newsfirst Chaturanga Hapwarachi, who is reporting on the construction of the Colombo Port City project, which is ongoing.
A very good evening to our viewers. The Newsfirst team is currently standing by at the Golf Face in Colombo, where a topic of much debate in the recent past, the Colombo Port City is being constructed. If I'm to draw your attention to what's happening behind me at the moment, you can see that the construction activities of the Colombo Port City taking place. Now, if I'm to go into more detail, 1,200 million cubes of rock is needed for this project to continue. 200 million rocks have already been laid for the project. If a feasibility study is conducted, the continuity of this project can also be decided based on this report. For the Newsfirst team, I am Chaturanga Hapwarachi, reporting from Golf Face Green.
Thank you, Chaturanga. Well, speaking at a convention at the Gaul Urban Council Hall yesterday, JVP leader MP Anukumar Dissanayake also commented on the Port City project.
I remember then opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe saying in Parliament that the Port City project will be suspended when they come to power. Speaking on the political platform, he spoke greatly of the harm it causes to the environment as well as the economy of the country. But what was said just recently? Speaking at the Cabinet media briefing, Rajitha Senaratne said that Cabinet has decided to go ahead with this project. When I asked Ranil Wickremesinghe about this in Parliament, he said, no, it is not so, and that a committee has been appointed for it, and that whatever decision taken by that committee will decide the work on the Port City project. When a journalist questioned Ranil Wickremesinghe about it, he said that the project will be stopped. Kejriwal says that they may or may not go ahead with the project. Now, who should we believe? Cabinet spokesperson Rajitha Senaratne, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, or Minister Kejriwal? The government has not conveyed a clear idea on the project.
On to other local news. Now, police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana says that 3 police teams have been assigned to investigate the information revealed by MP Duminda Silva to the Criminal Investigations Department. Speaking further on the matter, SSP Ajit Rohana said that these police teams were in operation since Thursday. Tamil National Alliance MPP Arinendran also expressed the following views at an event in Patiklo in connection to this incident.
புதிய ஆட்சி மாற்றம் வந்திருக்கின்றது. புதிய ஆட்சி மாற்றம் மைத்ரிபால சிறிசேன அவர்களின் ஆட்சி மாற்றத்துக்கு பிற்பாடு
There has been a change in administration. Under the rule of Maithripala Sirisena, Ranil Wickremesinghe has become the Prime Minister. It was said in Parliament that persons connected to fraud and corruption will be investigated. This is mentioned in the 100-day program. However, only a few persons are being investigated under these charges. They say that some persons are being investigated. It appears that special attention is given to some people. Siblings, relatives and also persons who supported Ranil Wickremesinghe are not investigated. To last long, this government should not carry out such activities. Special attention does not need to be given to supporters or relatives or siblings when imposing punishments. Ranil Wickremesinghe also should not operate in the manner that those persons must support him at the next election. Punishments need to be imposed no matter who commits the crime. We have the names of certain persons. I do not wish to state those names at this time.
President Maithripala Sirisena has ordered for 10 military officers, including a Sri Lanka Army Major General, to be reinstated in their ranks. These officers were sent on compulsory leave over the situation that arose after the 2010 presidential election. Acting military spokesperson Brigadier Jana Javira said that Army Commander Lieutenant General Daya Ratnayaka had been informed of this last evening by the Secretary of the President P.B. Abekun to the Secretary of Defence.
Acting military spokesperson Brigadier Jana Javira said that the Army Commander had taken measures to inform the respective regiment of the reinstatement yesterday. The officers who have been reinstated too have been notified of their reinstatements. Acting military spokesperson said that the reinstatement came into effect yesterday. He went on to note that the reinstated officers have been instructed to meet with the commander of the Sri Lanka Army on Monday. Among the officers who have been reinstated in their ranks are Major General NUMMV Senanayaka and Brigadier PBD Das, DC Kapati Vilana, JJ Mohotti, UAT Hannadige and KAW Kumara Peruma. Acting military spokesperson Brigadier Jana Javira said that Colonel DPMT Ubeyavardhana, Lieutenant Colonel LJMCP Jasundara, Captain RMR Ranavira and Captain WADC Krishanta have been reinstated in their ranks.
Sri Lankan Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira met with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon yesterday. Reuters quotes UN diplomatic sources as saying that the minister had pressed the government's desire to delay the release of a UN report on alleged war crimes during the country's civil war.
According to Reuters, the United Nations Press Office has said that during the meeting at UN headquarters in New York, Sri Lankan Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira and Ban Ki-moon had discussed critical priorities for Sri Lanka, including especially human rights, accountability and reconciliation. Reuters goes on to say that the UN readout of the meeting said nothing about Colombo's desire for UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Saeed Raad al-Hussein to delay the March 25th release of the war crimes report. According to Reuters, Samaravira had raised the issue behind closed doors with Ban on Friday, stressing the importance of a delay. Quoting a source at the UN, Reuters says that for his part, Ban has made it clear this was an issue for Zaid, the Geneva-based UN human rights boss. Diplomats said that Samaravira has used his trip to the United States to persuade US and UN officials of the importance of delaying the report. Meanwhile, responding to a question raised on the request to delay the report, Jen Psaki, the spokesperson for the US State Department, said that this is a matter for the UN High Commissioner to determine.
The Sri Lankan Foreign Minister saying early this week that the UN should delay its report on human rights. You said you will be speaking about it after the meeting.
The Secretary reiterated our commitment to the people of Sri Lanka after the historic January 8th elections and for the ongoing effort to strengthen democratic institutions in Sri Lanka. The Secretary reiterated support for the new government and its 100-day plan. He also underscored the United States and international commitment to accountability and reconciliation after nearly 30 years of war, and expressed ongoing support for a Sri Lanka that is peaceful, democratic, prosperous, inclusive, and unified. In terms of the topic of the UN report, they discussed during their meeting, as I referenced, a range of bilateral and regional issues, including this issue. The United States, our focus and the focus of our partners in the international community is supporting accountability and reconciliation in Sri Lanka. We're determining the best way forward to address these issues. Obviously, it was discussed yesterday, but this is a matter for the UN High Commissioner to determine. We have absolute confidence in him and in this process.
But would you like the UN to delay the report?
Again, we're going to keep these conversations with the Sri Lankans and with the UN private.
I believe
the United States Ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power, said that it was remarkable to see the change in the human rights climate in Sri Lanka following the elections last month. She made this statement in a post on Twitter following her meeting with Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira, which she said was encouraging.
Welcome back to the news. State Minister for Higher Education, Professor Rajiv Vijayasinghe, says that trade unions not only influence the removal of the chairperson of the University Grants Commission, but have influenced the entire university system.
Newsfirst contacted all respective factions over these influences. It was noted that the Federation of University Teachers Association has influenced the removal of the chairperson of the University Grants Commission. Yes, as a trade union we exerted pressure. We had justifiable reasons to exert pressure. The main reason was that during her term of service, she made the university system a colony of Apart from this, another reason is the conflict of interest in her duties. For an instance, her husband has applied for the post of Vice-Chancellor at the Colombo University while she was functioning as the chairperson of the University Grants Commission. I think another infamy during her tenure would be the enrollment of a student depending on a letter of recommendation from Namal Rajapaksa. That itself is enough for her to decide to resign. That is why we are asking her to resign. State Minister for Education, Professor Rajiv Vijayasinghe, explained the situation that has arisen due to the incident. I have discussed with the President and I have even written a letter to inform that I cannot work in this condition. I have pointed out that it is very difficult for me to work in this condition. So I need an alternative. A letter with several alternatives has been presented to the President and he will take a decision.
On to more local news now. Around 100 people have been warned by the National Building Research Organisation to evacuate from the Pahalagama area in Udavatta, located in Hanguranketa. This evacuation instruction was given taking into account the landslide risk in the area.
Over the past few days, active landslides were reported from the area. Landslides are normally reported from this area during a heavy downpour. However, landslides are reported from this area even when there is no rainy weather experienced. The earth embankment collapsed on this house during the early hours of today. The National Building Research Organisation says that the soil which had loosened as a result of the heavy rains that we experienced had attributed to the active nature of the landslides in the area even during the period where there is no rain.
We built this house after saving money through farming. We are not capable of building a house again. Not a single institution came here and informed us of this. Even the district secretary has not arrived here. We complied to him on several occasions and also produced letters, yet he has not arrived here.
The NBRO says that taking this risk into account, 100 persons residing in 18 houses were instructed to evacuate. These persons evacuated their residences yesterday and today and sought refuge in safer locations. Director of the Landslide Research and Risk Management Division of the NBRO, RMS Bandara, said a special investigation will be conducted over the situation during next week.
A series of incidents in relation to the death of children were reported from several areas in the recent past. The most recent incident was reported from the Horana area.
4-year-old Umesha Vishmini lived in the Allakande estate in Horana. Owing to her mother's decision to leave the country 2.5 years ago, Umesha lived at her aunt's house along with her father, elder brother and sister. At around 10 this morning, Umesha had gone to bathe to the nearby well, which is situated 15 meters away from her house. However, no one would have thought that it was her last journey.
She was eating rice and a piece of meat. When she said she was going to bathe, I said I will do it, but she didn't listen.
Umesha's father has not been at home when the incident occurred. The residents of the area request the officials to repair the unprotected well before any more lives are lost.
There are around 100 small children here. Their parents leave the estate to work in the morning and return in the evening. This well is not safe. Prior to this, 2 more children have fallen into this well. One of the residents had pulled them out. This is an unprotected well. We request the officials to repair this.
Meanwhile, Coroner Sumya Dagunuvardhana carried out an observation near the area.
The parent of this child had travelled abroad. If they are travelling abroad, there is a responsibility for the parents to ensure the safety of their children. The estate officials will be notified to remove the unprotected pit from the area and to carry out a safety program.
1 person was killed and 2 others injured in a clash that took place in Atampetia. Crime Watch has the details.
A heated argument which eventually broke out into a brawl killed 1 person and injured 2 others in the Davatagaha Ulpata area in Atampetia, Haliala. According to our correspondent, the injured were admitted to the Atampetia hospital and were later transferred to the Badulla hospital. The police say that 4 suspects have been arrested in connection to the incident. The suspects were remanded until the 24th of this month after they were produced before the Valley Mada magistrate today.
An issue has arisen over the removal of a line of houses in Grand Pass, Colombo.
These houses are located down the Prince of Wales Mawatha in Grand Pass, Colombo. These houses come under the purview of the Colombo Municipal Council. A discussion took place at the official residence of the Colombo Mayor today to provide houses to these residents without causing any injustice.
The Housing Development Authority attempted to take over these houses. A cabinet bill was also presented during the time of Vimal Veerawangsa, who was the minister. At that time, we reached an agreement with the UDA to give them houses. We are prepared to immediately provide houses to those who are prepared to leave. After they go there, they cannot come back. In addition, if persons wish to stay here, they can do so. However, that stay can be limited to a year and a half. You will have to search for your place on your own. The CMC will provide an agreement. We will give them houses within 2 years. If there is a delay, we will give them a housing rental of 10,000 rupees. I will take over the houses of persons who claimed houses but did not leave. I will go with the police.
United National Party parliamentarian Buddhika Pathirana inquired into the problems of the people at the Deniyaya Pallegama public market today as well.
MP Buddhika Pathirana was given a grand welcome by the people upon arrival at the Pallegama market. The parliamentarian said he had received a large response from the people in his program to provide real solutions to the problems of the people.
දිනසීය වෙනකොට බිඳවීමේ මහා කුමන්ත්‍රණයක් රාජ්‍යංශයේ සල්පයක් වූ නිලධාරීන් කල්ලියකුත්
A gang of officials in the state sector, with the assistance of a few of those hiding in the shadows of defeat, are conspiring to sabotage this 35-day-old infant government by the time they are 100 days old. We have now identified this conspiracy. Let me show you. This sheet of paper was given to all Grama Niladaris and other officials to conduct a survey on low-income families. Now we have received information that some copy bureaus are photocopying this sheet of paper and selling it for 5 rupees. They distribute this sheet of paper to their loyalists and spread the word saying that everyone who has this sheet of paper will be given a house or samurdhi. A pamphlet has also been printed by certain samurdhi officials together with a few organizers of electorates of the SLFP with the intention of putting our government to disrepute.
Sri Lanka නිදහස් පක්ෂ සමහර ආසන සංවිධායකවරුත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා මේ අපේ ආණ්ඩුව අපකීර්තියටපත් කරන්නේ ජනතාව අතර කලකිරවන්නේ ත්‍රිගාව අච්චු ගාලා බෙදනවා.
Hema Surya, the new chairman of the Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation, assumed duties in his new capacity today.
Hema Surya took up his duties yesterday at an event held at the Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation head office in Colombo. Surya, who commenced his professional career as an administrative accountant in 1977, reached the post of director of Singer Industries Ceylon PLC within 4 years through dedication and hard work. Since 1985, Hema Surya served as the chairman of Singer Industries Ceylon PLC.
On to business news now. The Oil Island Rice Producers Association says that if the government introduces a proper program, the price of rice can be brought down. The association made this observation at a press conference in Dambulla today.
Ten rice producing associations formed the All Island Rice Producers Association today and convened a press conference.
The government needs to establish an institution where paddy will be converted to rice and be given to the state under certain accord. All paddy stocks are taken by the government and are given to our associations via the Mill Association. After that, if we are informed of what kind of stocks the government needs, we will be able to produce the rice and give it to the
the Paddy Marketing Board, the Food Commissioner's Department, and then for distribution, the Satosa, cooperatives and other state institutions collapsed in the past. That is why the price of paddy is low and the price of rice has increased. If the government intervenes, this situation will not arise and we will be able to sell rice to the consumers for a price between 70 or 80 rupees.
In news overseas, Arvind Kejriwal, a 46-year-old former tax official, was sworn in as Delhi's chief minister today in a public ground filled with thousands of his supporters wearing boat-shaped white caps emblazoned with the words, "I am a common man."
Arvind Kejriwal took oath as the Chief Minister of New Delhi at the historic Ram Leela Maidan before Delhi Governor Lieutenant Najib Jung. The cabinet consisting of 6 ministers was also sworn in, making it India's youngest cabinet with an average age less than 40. Manish Sisodia, a former journalist, took oath as the capital's first deputy chief minister. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal will also serve as the state's Minister of Finance and Hydroelectricity.
Me being elected as Chief Minister goes to show anyone can be Chief Minister. My competitor Kiran Bedi is like my sister. We will seek her guidance. We want to put an end to Delhi's notorious VIP culture. AAP ministers would not use lal batis or red beacons on their cars. The people don't have to wait until the official vehicles of politicians pass by. If someone asks you for a bribe, don't refuse. Take your mobile phones out and record it. We will act upon it. This is common to AAP members as well.
Kejriwal added that if he and his party fails to eradicate corruption as promised, they will be rejected by the people. The people in the state of Delhi rallied for a change for the people of Sri Lanka as well. However, the expected process on certain changes within Sri Lanka as well as punishing the perpetrators for their wrongs have come under much scrutiny.
The government that came into power in 1994 also said that they will eradicate corruption. However, nothing happened after that. They spoke about arresting certain ministers for fraud and corruption, but no minister has been arrested. Similarly, the people have the utmost faith that this government was democratically elected, but no arrests have been made based on corruption charges as yet. Ethanol was found. The prime example to this is that the government of Narendra Modi said that all the black money of thieves stolen from the people of Delhi will be brought back to the country, but no arrests were made. What happened today? The party, which was established just 2 years ago, won 67 seats out of a 70-seat state, which is more than a two-thirds majority. So if this government, especially the Prime Minister, does not arrest all those charged of corruption, this government will not go far. This country cannot be developed unless political friendship, business ties and all other friendships are severed and the wrongdoers are put in jail. Neither can they stop political thievery.
Brendan McCullum gave the Cricket World Cup the explosive opening organisers had hoped for with a blazing 65 as New Zealand scored an imposing 331 for 6 against Sri Lanka in Christchurch. Now the Kiwis were exceptional with the bat and they also crushed Sri Lanka with their bowling attack.
New Zealand had got off to a flying start when McCullum lofted the first ball he faced to the extra cover boundary after being asked to bat by captain Angelo Matthews. The openers put on 111 at almost 7 and over before the introduction of left-arm spinner Rangana Herath clamped down the scoring rate and resulted in the New Zealand captain McCullum being well caught at long off by Mendes.
He might get it, he does!
Kane Williamson made the most of a drop catch to effortlessly bring up his 13th score in excess of 50 in his last 19 ODIs before he was brilliantly caught by a diving Dimuth Karunaratne at wide long on off Mendes for 57. The leg spinner then had Ross Taylor stumped for 14 by Sangakkara on the next ball before Elliott and Anderson stabilised the innings to guide the host to 231 for the loss of 6.
Facing an uphill task, the Sri Lankan opening pair of Lahiru Thirimanne and Tilakaratne Dilshan did not set the stage on fire in the chase, as the duo only managed to score 46 runs in the first 10 overs. But the 2011 World Cup finalist Sri Lanka lost Dilshan in the 13th over when he misjudged one of Daniel Vettori's bowling and got out caught and bowled. New Zealand did not need to wait for too long to get their second wicket, as Thirimanne, who scored a half-century, was sent back to the dressing room as he failed to tackle a ripper of a Yorker from Trent Boult. Sri Lanka then had to deal with Mahela Jayawardena's blow. The right-hander did not trouble the scorers and fell to Daniel Vettori. If that was not enough, the New Zealanders struck again and dismissed Kumar Sangakkara. When the left-hander got out, Sri Lanka were 129 for 4. From that point on, wickets began to tumble at regular intervals, and Sri Lanka were eventually bowled out for 233 runs in 46.1 overs.
No, Vettori's got round. That could be it. There's it. New Zealand dug deep.
Meanwhile, Australia sent an ominous warning to its World Cup rivals, destroying England in their opener at the MCG. Australia, batting first in their home ground, were powered to a mammoth 342 runs for the loss of 9 wickets in their 50 overs. Opener Aaron Finch was not rattled by the English bowlers as he fired them to all corners of the MCG, scoring 135 in 128 deliveries. George Bailey, stand-in captain, scored 55 of 69, while Glenn Maxwell fired a quick-fire 66 in just 40 deliveries. However, the Australian tail was ripped apart by Stephen Finn, who incidentally claimed a hat-trick in the last 3 deliveries of the game. Chasing a target of 343 runs to win, the English were hoping for a positive start but were denied of it as Mitchell Starc got the better of Moeen Ali. Wickets continued to tumble at regular intervals for the Englishman. Middle order batsman James Taylor played a lone innings as his fellow batsmen were dismissed by a strong Aussie bowling attack. England were reduced to 231 runs with Taylor unbeaten on 98. And that's wrap of Weekend Primetime News for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Ramesh Irukabadara. Good night.